And right now, we're going to talk with Jamie Hall. You hear him on Carter and Company here on WLNI. And he is in Lexington, Kentucky, where the Flamettes, the Lady Flames, are taking on the Kentucky Wildcats in Rupp Arena, which I got to tell you, that sounds like a tall order, my good man.
It is, yeah. That is the one bad thing about the women's tournament is the top 4 seeds in each region get to host. So we're not, but we're not in Seattle, and that's no offense to the wonderful city of Seattle. But we didn't have to fly 5.5 hours across the country. We had a much shorter flight. We got to play a team on their home court. But I do have to correct you on one thing. They actually don't play in Rupp Arena. They play in the old Memorial Coliseum.
Oh,
which,
I didn't realize that. I thought for the NCAA tournament they'd play at Rupp. Oh.
Well, the men's tournament is actually going on at Rupp.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I did not realize that.
Brian,
the good news is,
how about you let Jamie give us the story here? He's the one there with the team, so maybe he can.
I'm just answering what he's saying to me.
Jamie,
they did an $85 million renovation on the old gym, so they've got air conditioning there now, which the last time I was in Memorial Gym, it was like a sweatshop making Nike somewhere. I mean, it was it was like 100 degrees. So yeah, they've got the AC now. It's really they've made it quite beautiful, similar to what North Carolina does for their women's team. They play in the old gym that Michael Jordan played in.
Carmichael.
The men's team plays in the Dean Dome.
So tell us about this matchup tonight. And first of all, Jamie, the time. What time is it?
It's actually noon.
Oh, okay.
The ladies play the
first game.
Tournament, on the women's side. The women's tournament is on Friday and Saturday is the first rounds. So the women play the first game of the first day. The men play the last game of the second day of the first round. So it couldn't have been more opposite as far as the two teams are concerned. So either you're the first upset of the day and you're going to get all the headlines, or unfortunately the opposite of that would be you're the first team heading home if you don't pull the upset.
So it's at noon today, and tell us about this matchup.
Well, Kentucky, they're a very good basketball team. Kenny Brooks is their coach. It's his first year here at Kentucky, and a lot of the locals they're going to be very familiar with Kenny. He coached at Virginia Tech and took them to the Final Four. Previous to that, he coached at JMU for several years. So he and Kerry Green have a lot of battles. This will be the 14th time they've actually coached against each other. And the last time was when he was at Virginia Tech, and it was a nice Liberty win back in 2021. And so I'm sure there were 3 on the Lady Flames from that game, and there was Georgia Amore, which is the best player for Kentucky, was in that game. So they have a memory of each other. The coaches certainly know each other very well. So it should be fun to see how that kind of plays out. There shouldn't be a lot of secrets in this game as far as coaching style is concerned. But yeah, Kentucky pretty much goes through Georgia Amore. She's an All-American. She leads them almost 20 points a game, and she gets 7 assists a game. So she basically, if something happens that she stubs her toe, Kentucky's in trouble because they really run completely through her. But she hasn't stubbed her toe much this year. She is an All-American for a reason.
And she, like the coach, came from Tech, right?
Yeah. She transferred for her final season. They've got 3 players that transferred over from Virginia Tech, and she and Clara Strack are major contributors on the team. Clara Strack is their best post player. Gets about 10 rebounds and 15 points a game. So, yeah, their 2 best players are transfers in from Tech.
You're traveling with the Lady Flames as the voice of the Lady Flames. What's their attitude like right now? Is there heading in as the underdog? And they don't really. They were so dominant. They were 19-2 in Conference USA. They haven't found themselves the underdog too much this season.
No, and you wouldn't know it. I mean, they have a lot of confidence. They played Tennessee early in the year, and they played Duke, and they were in both of those games. The Tennessee game ended up being just this crazy shootout. They scored 93 points but lost. And then the Duke game was a competitive game, outplayed them in the second quarter and was really in that. And then Duke eventually pulled out the win. But So I think playing some good teams early in the season kind of gave them the confidence. Hey, we can play with anybody, and they have been really. You can get a sense of a team has accomplished the conference championship, and they're going to be content with that. But I think because this is such a senior-laden group that they're not. You know, they've watched March Madness their whole lives, and they see what happens. And then they've got a coach on the team, and Katie Feenstra-Matera, that 20 years ago in her senior season, very similar, characteristics of the makeup of the team, and she took that team to the Sweet 16. So she's been, kind of ingraining in them that don't accept just making the tournament as your final victory. That there's more games to be won. And no, it's been a lot of fun. This whole trip they've got to kind of take in the NCAA vibe, and you get the gift bag, and everybody's happy about getting some swag. And they took them to a really nice steakhouse, Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. I found out don't joke around and call it Jack Ruby's. They do not have a sense of humor about that. It is a good time. So a lot of good food was consumed that night for sure.
Let's talk, and that's at noon today. So we'll be wishing the luck to the Lady Flames. Now, how about on the men's side? They're all the way out in Seattle.
Yeah, they've got a tall task ahead as well. I mean, both of these, it would be upsets. I think if you looked at the upset hierarchy, it would be a little bit bigger upset to beat Kentucky on their home floor than Oregon on a neutral site, but they're going to have a ton of fans. It's not that far of a drive to get up to Seattle. They've got a big a center, and Nate Biddle, that's going to be kind of the guy that the Flames are going to have to stop. He scores 14 points a game, can protect the rim, and play some great defense as well. They're a balanced team. They got four guys in double figures, so the Flames are going to have to they're going to have to dig in and play some defense against a bigger, more athletic team. But what we've seen from Coach McKay's squad all season is when they face a challenge, they seem to step up to it, and they like to kind of call themselves munchkins. They're undersized guards, but boy, Matheny and Porter can play with anybody in the country, and if the Flames can hit some threes and kind of dig in on the defensive end and keep Oregon off the glass, that's going to be the toughest thing. Oregon will out-rebound you, and they'll get some second-chance points. So if the Flames can kind of dig in, I think that has a lot of potential to be a 2-4-point game in the final 5 minutes, and then, who knows what happens. We saw back in 2019, similar situation, and the Flames men beat Mississippi State. Very similar spot. So I think they got a chance tonight.
They have been kind of a trendy upset pick.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of buzz too on various major national shows, and yeah, you're right. And I think that's, you've won the battle already, winning Conference USA and getting there, and so anything now is just icing on the cake. It's great publicity for both programs, and so. But if you can figure out a way to win a game or two, now you are the talk of the town.
It's the men are at 10:10 tonight, the last game, at 10:10 our time. So folks might just stay up late or have a little nap and wake up and watch Brian.
Well, Jamie, just one last thing with that. The difference in the times from noon to 10. Do you have anybody from Liberty who you think is going to be there at the women's game, and then maybe hop the flight to Seattle and try to make the men's game too in the same day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and I'm definitely not the authority on the admin side of things, but I'm pretty sure that Ian McCaw, the AD, and President Don DeCosta and a group of theirs is going to fly here, watch this game, and then make the trip out and get there in time to watch the game in Seattle, and hopefully have games to hop back and forth and watch on Saturday too.
If they win, that would
be... Hey,
be...
rack up, get the frequent flyer miles, baby.
And that reminded me, Jamie, I heard you talking with Dennis on Carter and Company not too long ago. It was during the Conference USA, as they were wrapping up the season, the regular season, and how Liberty would travel out to New Mexico and they would play the Conference USA. They, do all the teams out there at once and then fly back. And the lady at the same time, the Liberty women were hosting those same teams here. And you talked about the toll, though, that the being on the road that far away takes on a team. Do you think that will have an effect here on the men who are all the way out on the West Coast and they've had to travel that far?
Well, the good news is they've gotten used to it, and that trip to Las Cruces and El Paso, as well as they've already played a trip to Seattle earlier in the year against Seattle U. So they've made the trip to Seattle back in, I forget if it was late November, early December, right around there. They've done the New Mexico, West Texas swing, so they're used to it, I guess, as much as you can be, and they've been out there for a couple of days to kind of get acclimated. And it is the late game of the night. Now that the time zone, I think, might be more of a concern than the travel at this point, because, like I said, they're pretty ready as far as travel now. But the fact that your body clock is telling you it's 10 o'clock at night, it's almost time to go to bed, and you're just getting fired up for a basketball game. But the thing that I keep reminding myself of is these guys are 20 years old, and when I was 20 years old, I could pull 2 straight all-nighters and still get a solid C- on a test the next day. So you can play at a different level when you're that young. So I think they're going to be okay, and I think Conference USA, if anything, got them ready for this very type of situation.
Jamie Hall. All right, we're wishing so much luck to both Liberty Flames teams today, and. Hey, Jamie, with any luck, we'd be talking to you on Monday morning about the wins and
the two teams in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that would be.
How can folks hear the call, Jamie, today at noon?
Well, if you go on the men's, it's a little tougher because they have the NCAA loves to have restrictions, but there's the Varsity Network app has the men's tournament games. You can stream it on your phone. And but there's not those same restrictions on the women's games. So all the normal outlets that you can go on, libertyflames.com, or you can go to the Liberty Flames app and listen along.
Great, Jamie. Thanks so much. Have a great game. Call in the game today.
All right. Thanks, guys.